round 2. There, guys. My second time. The sucker didn't want to start for me. We're going to be taking a look at Snake Eyes Dead Game Declassified. It is a floppy edition one-shot. I think it's for issue number 6 of Rob Liefeld's Snake Eyes Dead Game miniseries. I think it's for issue 5 or 6. They don't even tell you. It just says one-shot. They sell it as its own thing. It's not. It's just basically a look at what Rob was able to do. A plethora of guest inkers. A plethora. All professionals, from what I see right here. Professional artists. So he actually brought in a bunch of penciler / inkers to do finishes and hijacks galore, I'm sure. I am not in here before he started this. I already exited. I already quit working with Rob. Right before this, I remember he put the brakes on. We were working on the Batter Blood books. I think he told me hit the brakes. We started working on some Youngblood stuff. Back to Batter Blood. And then he started working this. I was already gone. I had other stuff to work on. Yeah. So anyways, here we go. All right. So page 1 here, we got Liefeld inking himself. Yeah, Rob inking Rob. No complaints. Super energetic. Looking at this from a colorist standpoint, I don't recall. I have the trade to this. I don't have the floppies, so this would be towards the back. The coloring in the books were phenomenal. The line art was fine. It was exactly what you would get from a Liefeld project. I don't necessarily remember anything standing out to me, you know. It just kind of felt like it was like a product and you knew what was inside. But definitely this last issue had a lot of variety, a lot of different types of inkers. Okay, so Rob did that first piece. Right here we got Corey Hampshire. I may or may not be correct about this. I think Corey Hampshire was Eric Larson's finish artist for a while. I think. I might be wrong about that. But anyways, I have seen a lot of Corey's work on the internet. Very 1999 Grey Capullo style. Super clean. Definitely an underutilized line artist. I will say that. What he did here, really magnificent outlines. For what Rob's work needs, he understands it. These faces, perfect. And I know what he was given here. He made it look interesting. He's got a lot of what do you call it? Dollop work going on here. His tapered lines are about as good as you can get. I'd be interested to know if he did this digitally or traditional. It kind of looks digital in a way because it just looks so perfect with some of these lines. So yeah, I'm not really sure. But anyways, yeah, great job. This double page spread. I'm going to be quite honest, the way Rob works now, he works very tiny. So this was probably an 11/17 turned sideways. So yeah, but Hampshire did very, very good job on that piece right there. All right, now here we go. All right, style over substance begins. Philip Tan, completely hijacking it. I like it. I think it'd be really interesting to see anybody, really, any image era, 90s era artist, creator, give Philip Tan layouts to work on a project. Yeah, this entire thing right here, I know what he was probably given. You got to kind of weigh it out. Like, okay, do I totally abandon what's going on here? What do I add? What do I omit? Things like that. Yeah, I think he did a great job. This stuff is super interesting. I don't really care for the grayscale stuff going on here, though. He threw some gray in here on the foreground characters. Not really necessary. Let the colorist take care of that. If something needs to be faded out, or I'm not a huge fan of grayscale added to inks unless it is part of the style. If it's something you're adding tone to indicate something to the colorist, leave it alone. Just tell the colorist. Don't add it on the actual line art. But anyways, besides that, awesome. Yeah, it's just really interesting. Philip Tan has more 90s in his work than a lot of the 90s guys today. It's really interesting to look at this. All right, here we got a... and also, by the way, some of these have pencils. These, for whatever reason, they're not in here, just the ink files. You got an Ed Piskor page right here. This page screams Red Room to me. For anyone familiar with the series that Ed had knocked out. Yeah, it's really interesting. It feels almost like Ed treated Rob's pencils more as a defining layout for what he was to produce versus inking it. Yeah, because by no means would I ever say Piskor's work was like refined or refining for others. He just kind of brought to the table what tools that he had, and he very consistent, so you knew what you were getting. A lot of zip tone pattern in here, a lot of deleter whiteout stuff going on in here. It's interesting. Not my favorite, but it definitely puts a stamp on it. You know, I worked on a Rob Liefeld piece. Here's my stamp. Let's see here. Okay, so we got a Jim Rugg page here as well. I was looking at these pencils here. It's like I said, Rob works smaller. This original here, I'm going to assume was actually probably about this big in person. It's probably like 6 by 8. You know, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Definitely winding down final issue mode. Engaged for Rob. Yeah, the inks here. This is art for inspiration, so I'm trying to show you guys things that I really, really enjoy, things I like. Majority of this book I'm going to like, but I think I'm going to kind of... This is not my favorite. This page right here is not my favorite. It feels very low effort. I'm finding very little things in this page I really enjoy, but as someone, I'm not super familiar with Jim Rugg. I just know him as being a kayfabe persona on YouTube. You know, it is what it is. I think that was part of the thing too, is Rob bringing in people who have a very broad audience. So it's not always about the talent or the skill. I think some of the audience has a little bit to do with it too. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff in here defining a lot of what makes Rob's art cool. I do like what he did with the borders here. So I do like that. All right, next. Try not to be too negative. It's a positive stream, guys. Positive video. All right, here we go. Okay, so here's the pencils here. It's an interesting... I think that's Destro getting smashed in the head by this hammer. Pretty typical Liefeld pencils here. Over here, sorry, the light is glaring. Oh, Chance Wolf. Okay, so Chance Wolf is insanely good. Really, really good artist. He's got a lot of versatility. Really excellent inker too. Chance Wolf goes way back. Used to ink like Shadowhawk stuff over, for Valentino. I would almost say more of a Finnish artist, to be honest. Inked, I don't know, like a ton of issues of Spawn with Todd. Assistant inks. He also inked a bunch of the Curse of Spawn stuff. The stuff that was insanely riddled with just noodle rendering all over the place, right? Dwayne Turner. Yeah, he did a lot of that stuff. And damn. So I'm looking at a lot of these outlines here and the stuff that because Rob doesn't really indicate. He assumes that the inker is going to know what he needs in those areas. So sometimes he'll kind of just, he'll bring in a little bit of a double ghost line or something because he knows, okay, the inker is going to know what I kind of wanted right here specifically, right? And Chance doesn't miss any and every opportunity to make this page shine. It's really interesting to me because a lot of his selections, a lot of his ideas are literally exactly the way I would have did it. So yeah, man. Yeah. All right. So this one right here is up from my favorite page. So I know we're just a few pages in. The only thing that's a little weird to me with this is I don't even know what you call these. They're not like cufflinks, they're like banding things right here. Chance kind of made them a little rigid on the outlines. I feel like if he kind of pushed them more to a bulbous curvature with the thin to thick, I don't know. I'm just, it's the only thing that's off-putting to me. The rest of this, perfect. But hey, perfection. This is super interesting. Okay, I'm going to ignore this right here. This is the full color page. This page right here, inked by Will Spertaccio, okay? Have no idea of knowing what Rob gave him in pencil form, but pretty solid effort here. Besides this right here, besides the Destro faces, this doesn't feel like Liefeld to me. So I'm curious to know how much hijacking Wilfs did. Like these feel much more like modern day Wilfs. The outlines here. The contour doesn't scream Rob. A little bit, I don't know. A little bit of that foot, maybe. I'm not really sure. The faces, absolutely. Absolutely with the faces. But yeah, I like it. It's definitely an interesting page. So yeah, faces by Rob, bodies by Wills. I don't know how to put it. Yeah, so like I said, this is a lot of hijacking that I thumbed through this before this video just to remind myself because by the way, I'm doing this video because this was under my desk collecting dust. I completely forgot about it. I was talking to a buddy about it. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll make a video. I'll just put it up so you can check it out." Carl Kessel. I'm pretty positive Carl hasn't worked with Rob in a long time. Carl was the inker of, what is it? Hawk and Dove in like 88, 89, something like that. All right, so here's the pencils here. It's pretty direct, actually. I'm looking at it and thinking. Anytime I look at Rob pencils, by the way, something I would do. I ink traditionally, and when I would get these pencils, not only would I blow them up, I would sometimes cut and paste these panels so that they fit the 1117 correctly, because I feel like Rob doesn't pencil to scale of what an 1117 is, right? And they actually did it here. This panel was blown up, and then these were shrunk down so that it conforms to the 1117. I don't know if you can see that. See, this stuff was brought in, or this was expanded out. One or the other happened. But anyways, yeah, what I would do digitally is I would actually create my borders so that I'm not locked into inking and then come in with a 90-degree angle and say, oh man, half these lines are going into the other panel because the page was penciled super cockeyed. Rob's notorious for that. So I would actually lay out my borders in black. So when I do my blue line printing, I actually would already have my black borders printed out in black for that purpose. And yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah, this totally screams 1980 spinner rack Hawk and Dove to me, to be quite honest. Really clean, super pro inks here. Yeah, just clean. I don't know another way to describe it. Just really, really clean. I almost didn't even notice that. You got a snake eyes in the very back here punching Destro. Yeah, I just caught that. I thought that was smoke for a second. So yeah, not my favorite page, but I guess it's a cool reunion. I'm not reading this stuff down here, by the way, guys. He gives you some little bit of monologue on most of these. Okay, so we got the pencils here, double page spread. Again, this is probably an 1117 or a sideways turned piece, and probably asked whoever. I think did Otley ink this one? Yeah, I remember that. Okay, so so here's the pencils. And then you get to see Ryan Otley, longtime co-creator, artist, conspirator with Robert Kirkman on Invincible and everything else under the sun. A lot of covers, a lot of different stuff. He did a lot of cool stuff over at Marvel too. What is it? Weapon H, I think. I don't know, the Hulk book where he's got the Wolverine stuff going on. Fun to look at. Okay, so his inks on this stuff, it's okay. I kind of like this face. This doesn't scream Liefeld. This is something in between it's something in between Liefeld and what Wills did over Rob in a weird way, where it's super angular. But I also have the understanding, I am pretty familiar with Otley's personal artwork, and so there's nothing here that's out of bounds, that I wouldn't expect Otley to have done with inks on this. Looking at the fight at the bottom there. Yeah, I don't know. He redrew the hands, actually, on all the fists. All the fists were redrawn. I was like, Rob doesn't draw hands like this. He kind of gave it Eric Larson knuckles right here, which is okay. This hand feels... I don't think Rob draws fingers like that either. Yeah, Rob is real big on drawing stuff that's very inline, stiff, like this, right? Stiff, or this, right? And he kind of romanticized the angles. He kind of stuck that. He gave it a little bit of character, and Rob doesn't really do that with his work. Yeah. So it's interesting. No complaints. I'm just pointing a few things out here that I'm noticing while I'm turning these pages. But yeah, really, really interesting, interesting inks. A lot of stuff in here. You know, something that happens too, and I'm noticing this, okay, like in the abdomen, the bottom of the legs here, a lot of artists will find when you're inking another artist, you will start to hijack and render under or over render areas of the figure that you also emphasize. So a lot of the stuff going on in here is not stuff that necessarily Rob would do, but it's stuff Otley does very, very often and very successfully in all his own work. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. All right, got a Paul Scott page here, which means this could have been inked by anybody. Paul Scott is a moniker. Paul Scott could be me, you, your brother, your sister, Danny Mickey, John Spall inked the hair. You know, I don't know. I don't know who inked this page. This was probably just Rob inking himself and just using the moniker again, because that was an old Extreme Studios thing. And I know it could be confusing to collectors too. A lot of times Rob would sign Scott and people would assume it's Trevor Scott from Wildstorm. It was not. It was Paul Scott is a pen name used for any or everybody, either or, around the studio who's willing to pitch in on that page. That's Paul Scott. Okay. Let's see here. Inks Chance. Oh, damn. All right. Chance Wolf. Chance Wolf is goated. This page is perfect, man. Zombies. Look at this. Holy crap, dude. All right. He's just Chance put complete ownage. The 2 pages so far. I don't know if he inked any more, but this is great. Oh man, yeah, he's doing stuff here, which is literally what I would have done. Rob sometimes would do things where it's these indications, right? You have these indicators, these fades, right? Rob doesn't really do the thick to thins. He doesn't really do line variants. He doesn't do a lot of things that the inker would do, because he assumes that you know exactly what he's thinking when he lays it down, right? Like that's kind of Rob's mentality when he draws is, oh, the inker will know what I mean here. Oh, the inker will get it. And then what you do is you're like, oh, not only do I get it, I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna one up you, Rob. I'm gonna make this shine brighter than the brightest star. That's exactly what he did here. This is just you can't even see that in this. Anyways, you got to see this page up close in person. Curse of Spawn vibes here, man. He really, man, it's like old school Mickey. It's insane. Okay, this one, is there any pencils for this? There's no pencils. Okay, so Neil Adams. Dude, come on, man. You can't give a page to Neil Adams and go ink this. You're going to hand a page to Neil Adams, and Neil Adams is going to say, oh, that's cute. And then he's going to give you this. Yeah, Neil doesn't ink. He renovates. Neil Adams renovates. Yeah, not a lot of Liefeld left in here. Destro's smile a little bit. Maybe Baroness's lips. I don't know. Rob definitely didn't draw this gun. Yeah, this is a really really interesting to see this. Yeah, I got a lot of good memories of picking up Neil Adams books, continuity comics era books that he had worked on way back in the day. Okay, so here we go. We got a pencil and an ink page. This would have been fun to ink, actually. I would have rocked this page. Okay, Tom Scioli on inks. I'm not sure that's even inked. I think this is a pencil trace of this. Sticks to script. Not almost no variance at all. It feels like yeah, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, I mean it's literally I hate saying this. This almost feels like a level adjustment cleaned up from this. I'll just leave it at that. All right. I don't know what to say about that page in particular. All right, we got Mr. Murat. We got Murat Michaels here, inking a page by Rob. Rob's pencils right here. Not my favorite. Okay, so I'm just gonna say here, Rob did Murat a little dirty with this one. This is not Rob's best effort. This here I kind of like. Okay, I kind of like. I'm not looking at this yet. This here I kind of like. Not feeling any of this. So this right here, I kind of dig it. That's about it. All right. Murat here on inks. Yeah, Murat knows exactly what Rob's work needs. He just, yeah, he kind of came in and did what he needed to do. Sometimes you got to work with the ingredients, right? Like what was given to you. And yeah, no, he did fine. The only thing I would have did differently. So it's really weird. Okay, so like Rob sometimes will do this thing here where he doesn't indicate. It's almost like he doesn't know. Like, I don't know if I want this to be a fade or a spot black, right? So Murat chose spot black, and probably the better choice because it helps push this arm forward on this punch, right? If you drew a fade in here, it would look like a drop shadow. Although it looks like Rob maybe indicated that might be what he wanted. Murat did retain the white rendering on the pants right here, right? This fade here is new. That doesn't exist there. I kind of like it. I do stuff like that myself all the time when I'm making stuff. Yeah, I mean, Murat did what he could with what was supplied, and all of this stuff. And this looks great. This is exactly what you're gonna do with what you're given, right? Yeah. So no, this page is fine. He came in here. You can't really see it. I keep looking up at this. You can't really see it, but Murat came in and did a lot of little. They're not fixes. He did a lot of things in here with white where you bring in these little hot spots that kind of cut across some of your fades, your thick to thin fades and stuff like that, and it's kind of throughout the piece. There's itty bitty areas where he did it, and it looks cool. It's what do you call it? The finishing touch. So, very very good page by Murat there. All right, with what he was given. I know what Murat's capable of, and sometimes you just kind of have to. That's what you got, Man, this is a weird. This stuff's sort of off-putting to me. This cross hatching here. Okay, so this is the pencils, double page spread. I would honestly, I'm going to be quite honest. I would probably do something completely different in these grayscale areas where he indicates all this hatching. I probably, I don't know. I would do something completely different. I'd probably come in with some Portaccio thing. Oh wow. Okay, so we got Kevin Eastman, co-creator of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, inking this. Um, you know what's crazy is without seeing the name, I honestly, if you just showed me this, I would, and I knew who the inkers were in this book, I probably would have said this was Ed Piskor's page, to be quite honest, because him and Eastman both had. Anytime I would see the work, very very underground. They just got that underground zine feel to their work, right? So yeah, it's interesting. I don't hate it. It's interesting. I don't hate it. And again, it's like I know what Eastman draws like. I got so much of his work in the way of stuff that he's drawn that Simon Bisley has painted over. I'm just really used to seeing uh, the rigidness of what he does, and also just it's not sloppy. It's just gritty. There's a difference. Some artists are sloppy because they just don't understand what they're when pen goes to paper. They don't understand half of what they're doing. This is intentional. So yeah, I kind of like it. I like it for being different. I don't know that I would like it uh, full time. Yeah. Let's see. We got inks here by Jerry Ordway on this guy right here. Um, it's interesting. Definitely interesting. And there's no pencils for reference to look at kind of what happened here. Obviously, hijacked and redrew the hands, the face, even. Um, yeah, this feels like pop art to me. Feels very pop artsy to me. The craziest thing to me about this entire piece is I know how much Rob cross hatches. There is no cross hatching in this entire arm. Uh, yeah, I'd be interested to see the pencils to this to kind of see what he completely avoided doing in this work. Um, yeah, but yeah, like I said, this feels very. What was that artist? He used to do album. Is it Mitch Is I think it's Mitch O'Connell. I might be wrong about that. I'm not a big pop art guy. I just know album covers and stuff. I think it's Mitch O'Connell, but this feels very whatever his name was. He used to sign like an MOC. I think it's Mitch O'Connell. This feels very very much like something he would do for like a litho or something. Anyways, there's that. Let's see. All right, cool. Get to see some more pencils here by Rob. Okay. I'm trying to not look at this yet. Okay, I get it. All right. Carl Kerschel on inks here. All right. Man, they hijacked a lot and they changed a lot. Nothing in the line set to any of this is what Rob would ever do. I don't hate it, but it lost. If the assignment was to remove as much of Rob's cadence as possible, uh, this one, and there is another page later, uh, they're the show toppers in that category for sure. That's okay. This feels very, I don't know, like IDW house style if that was an actual thing. Here we go. All right, Eric Canetti. Eric's a great artist. I love Canetti's work. He's got so much cool, interesting energy to his work, and yeah, just every time I feel like every time that I see a new Canetti piece, there's a new energy that's just specifically of Eric in it, and definitely get that feeling here. Looking at the pencils, um, yeah, man, you went way off script. Nothing Rob laid down here is really used over here, except for a little bit of some of the. Yeah, I don't really know how to describe it. Yeah, I think Eric basically took this and said, "Thanks for the layout," and then drew it, if that makes sense, artistically. Um, yeah, I think it's fun. This is another one I would really like to see the marriage of like Liefeld or somebody who has a really dynamic approach to these shots, because like this is your anchor shot here. I know every page Rob tries to have one anchor panel. This is the anchor panel here, right? And then this actually feels like a throwaway. This is okay, and this one brings you back, right? Your the Rob squat, right? um, I like this panel a lot. Anchor, second strongest right here. Okay. Eric somehow managed to shift the energy equally through the page, through the use of black and everything else. I mean, he pretty much just he turned this page into a Canetti page, and this no longer feels like an anchor shot to me. It feels more like this page feels more fluid versus what Rob gave him. This page what I'm saying is this page has no anchor. Uh, it flows much nicer than what Rob gave him, but however, from an anchor standpoint, yeah, that's thanks for the layout. But I'm Eric Canetti. Same thing here, man. Yeah, Panosian. Okay, yeah, we're just all right. So, uh, this is not what I would have gave Rob on this page. But Panosian, man, Panosian's artwork is just so good, so good. Um, you know what's funny? Rob's shading here is essentially dead center, right? So right down the middle, the light source for this character would be almost 90 degrees. Okay, almost 90 degrees. Uh, Panosian on inks, that light source is way out here in the distance, but it's way up here. It's no longer up here. If you look at the shadows, everything has shifted to more on this side of the body versus down. Okay, like see, he eliminated a lot of that shadow that's going on right here on the chest and stuff. Um, it's cool. It's cool to see it. I do like the redraw. He hella hooked up Rob. He fixed everything in the torso. Everything is corrected. Because yeah, those pecs are too high. Yeah. Um, this feels weighted and correct. So that's pretty awesome. I also really like the amount of hijacking. I was never brave enough to do this on a Liefeld panel like this, but he did it. This is so good. This is such an awesome panel here. Um, he completely shifted not only the shadows, but he utilized a lot of screen tone here in a way that's not overbearing. It just feels very natural. Yeah, man. I don't know. Okay, so here we are. Awesome page. Awesome page. Liefeld essence. I see it in the forearm, the gun, the forearm, the gun, and the eyes. That's it. Hijacked, but in a good way for what this book was supposed to be. You know, that's the other thing. You got to remember too. I have to remind myself right now as well. This isn't just, hey, do you want to ink me? It's, hey, I kind of know what you're going to bring to the table when I hand you a page. You want to be part of this book, right? All right, so we've got a page right here. There's actually one of the better pages that Rob drew for this issue. Got Snake Eyes fighting this mummy guy. Inks here, inked by another longtime collaborator of Rob's, Dan Fraga. Dan, I wonder if Dan inked this traditionally. Yeah, there's a lot of this feels very, my artistic eye is telling me this feels very much if McFarlane inked Rob today, if that makes sense. Really loose lines, a lot of dollop rendering, a little loose on the outlines. Still got some thicks to thins going on in here. No shortcutting. There really isn't any shortcutting going on here. Pretty cool textures going on in here. Danny can Rob has always made. It's an interesting combination. Very different yet similar art styles. Kind of like, I don't really know another way to describe it, but yeah, this is interesting to see a little bit of what Fraga's approach was with some of like he eliminated a little bit of some of this rendering in the legs, but then he brought it back and pushed rendering coming from the contour outline inks as well. So you're pulling away from the middle but adding to the edge. I feel like it kind of helped. It kind of helped this area in particular more so than what Rob indicated here. I really like. I think it's funny. Even though Snake Eyes is the big piece, this small panel here is pretty sick. I actually like what Dan did with that panel. I would have did this differently too. So he came in and threw a bunch of feather rendering underneath. I would have actually just blacked this out. Honestly, I would have blacked it out, threw one or two fades coming out of it, and called it a day. All right, so we got Carl here, Carl Allstater. Another old Extreme Studio dude. Carl's artwork has changed a lot. It's changed a lot through the years. Again, no pencils. Carl understood the assignment. Didn't pull away from Rob too much with the inks. He does have a little bit of a different approach though. Carl's work to me feels very very structure based nowadays. He's very much, I know, I haven't talked to him in actually quite a while, but remember the last show we were at walking out, I was talking to him about something, and I was mentioning to him, like, it feels his structure, he's really put a lot of work towards the structuring of his figures and his characters. Whereas back in the day it was all sauce, right? We're just making hot sauce. We're selling you hot sauce all day, right? But he's focused a little more on like building that burrito, you know, for the sauce, like getting it, preparing the whole enchilada, right? So now I'm hungry. I'm thinking about food. Yeah. So, anyways, no, it's a fun piece. There's no pencils, though. Again, I can't really say, you know, what I can see he did. I do like the feathering here. Some of the rim lighting, instead of coming in with a hard, stark shadow and then feathering out of it, he's talented enough to come in and create a feather line that is consistent and has a line variation thick to thin, just enough to really lead the colorist, because that's really what this kind of rendering is for, is to convey to a colorist, hey, there's some bounce light or some background light that needs to be incorporated into the edge of this character to glue them into this scene, right? So yeah, this page is just fine. Inks here, Bjorn Hein. I have questions. So this name here, John Byrne used to ink himself under the moniker of Bjorn Hein. Was this actually inked by John Byrne? Did John Byrne ink this? It's like an, what do you call it, an amalgam? See, is there someone out on the internet acting like they're this inker? Because they don't exist. They're John Byrne. And this is not John Byrne inks. I guarantee you this is not John Byrne inks. I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't a Trevor Scott. All right, and then the last page here, we got Rob inking himself. Yeah, man, fun piece. Fun piece. All right, so for the book, I think this is from, yeah, this is a real close-up shot of this. Yeah, only Rob can ink Rob the way that Rob likes Rob to be inked. Like Rob. All right. All right, so my favorite pieces in this, this is probably the most technically sound piece, Corey Hampshire. We're going to consider everything else a hijack. Okay, the hijacks, everything's a hijack, style hijack. Chance Wolf is the MVP. Absolutely, Chance Wolf. Sorry, Wills. I love you, Wills. But Chance Wolf, yeah. Chance Wolf gets the gold star from the teacher on these pages. Yeah, these are great. And I do know for a fact, I am friends with Chance, and it has nothing to do with that, by the way. I do know that Chance has been inking, or he inked the, oh God, what was it? The Marvel team up, the Deadpool team up books. So I know he was inking on those, and yeah, I got some of that stuff, and yeah, he just really, really thorough. He understands what Rob's work needs, and where to push and where to pull on different lines. And again, you know, like I said, my only thing I had to say, they could say is any sort of a criticism would be some of the rigid lines used on the outlines of the banding, like these like banding. I think these need to have as much rigidness as Rob's work has. Things that run perpendicular to those, the rigidness usually contrast it with a smoothness. Kind of like here, shoulder pads smooth, arms rigid, right? So yeah, it's really just the banding, the stuff that Rob throws around wrists and arms and ankles, and I don't really know what you would call it. It's not, they're just ornamental, right? Yeah, and I see what he did. Rob kind of clipped some of these lines off. He kind of clipped them and did like that Simonson thing, right? The Walt Simonson thing where it's like pow pow, right? 90 degrees. Yeah, slingshotting everyone in the car. You can't drive like that. Yeah, and this is interesting too. He kind of came in and he pulled a little bit. He put a little bit of Capullo magic on them toes right there. Them toe beans got some Capullo magic on them. Yes. Anyways, yeah, Chance Wolf, you win. You did my personal favorite pages in here. But yeah, he's got an all-star cast of inkers on this thing. So good on Rob for that. Yeah, stay positive. Let's try not to be too negative on this one. I already knew there was going to be a page in this thing that I'm just like, ugh. But it's worth it because you get to see all the other like really cool stuff, right? All right, guys. Peace out.